They told us hell was a place of eternal punishment, a fiery pit for the wicked. They lied. Hell was never just about fire and brimstone. It was a battlefield, an endless, brutal war waged between demonic legions, each vying for supremacy in a kingdom of ash and shadow, and humanity. We weren't just prisoners or spectators. We were the currency of their conflict, the fuel for their infernal engines, the very weapons they wielded against each other. For millennia, our souls were harvested, our spirits broken and forged into instruments of demonic warfare. We were shields against unholy blades, living bombs in their sieges, and nourishment for their undying armies. We were expendable, a resource to be consumed in their cosmic struggle for power. We saw brothers and sisters torn apart, not by divine judgment, but by the cold, calculating machinations of demon lords who saw us as nothing more than cattle. They built their empires on our suffering, their thrones carved from our despair. But, in the deepest, most tormented corners of that abyss, something unexpected began to stir. A flicker of defiance, a whisper of rebellion that refused to be extinguished. It wasn't a divine intervention or a prophesied savior. It was born from us. Some of us, the most broken, the most tortured, started to see the patterns in the chaos. We learned their language, not of words, but of power, of essence. We discovered that the very energy they used to enslave us, the raw chaotic force of hell itself, could be touched, could be bent. It started small, a soul that refused to shatter, a mind that held onto its sanity against impossible odds. We found that our own emotions, our rage, our grief, our unyielding love for what we had lost, were not weaknesses. They were a power source, a different kind of fire that the demons, in their arrogance, had never conceived of. We learned to weave our anguish into a shield, to sharpen our sorrow into a blade. We became ghosts in their machine, anomalies in their perfect system of torment. Slowly, secretly, we began to fight back. Not with grand charges or epic battles at first, but with sabotage, with subversion. We turned their own weapons against them, redirecting streams of energy, causing their hellforges to overload, and whispering truths into the minds of their lesser minions, planting seeds of doubt and rebellion within their own ranks. We were the ultimate insurgency, an enemy they couldn't see because they refused to believe we could even exist. They had feasted on our fear for eons, but they never understood our hope. They reveled in our pain, but they were blind to our resilience. They thought because we were mortal, we were weak. They were wrong. Our mortality became our greatest strength. We fought with a desperation they could never match, for we had nothing left to lose and everything to reclaim. We were not just fighting for survival, we were fighting for the memory of every human soul that had been consumed by their war. The turning point came when we mastered the ultimate blasphemy. We learned to consume them. We learned to absorb their demonic essence, to take their power and make it our own without losing ourselves. A human soul, tempered in the fires of hell and armed with the very power of its captors, became the most terrifying thing in the abyss. We became the apex predators in their own kingdom. The great demonic lords who had battled for eons, finally turned their gaze from each other and looked down at the mire from which we rose. For the first time, they felt a sensation utterly alien to them, fear. They saw legions of human souls, no longer screaming in agony, but marching in silent, disciplined fury, their eyes burning with a cold, stolen light. The war for hell was no longer between demons, it was between the old regime and the new order born from its cruelty. They thought we were fuel, they thought we were weapons, they thought we were weak. They learned that when you push humanity into the darkest corner of existence, it doesn't just break, it adapts, it evolves, and it conquers. We rose from the ashes of their battlefield, and hell itself began to tremble. The age of demons was over. The age of man had begun. Thank you for watching this dark tale. If you crave more stories from the shadows, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Until next time, stay curious.